Oh, damn, we're back. Tyler's got his oh, damn moments of this past week in the MLB. Tyler, take it away.
Thank you, Traden. Oh, damn. So I'm going to do similar kind of to last week. I'll do some screen shares, and we're going to kind of look at some videos here. This week, I wanted to add my play of the week. All right, so we're going to start off there. It's just kind of for everyone just to kind of take a look at. I don't know if you guys have seen this one. Braves pitcher Tyler Matzek on Sunday Night Baseball turned a double play here in the top of the seventh inning against the Phillies. I'm just going to play it for you, and you guys can just marvel at this beauty right here. So he sets, winds. Here comes the pitch, runner on first base. It's beautiful behind the back, flip it to second, turn it, a 1-6-3 double play. So watch the slow-mo again. I don't know if you caught that. Watch this.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I'm impressed at the shortstop.
Yeah, I mean, this was just, I love, one of my favorite plays in baseball is seeing a beautifully turned double play. And this was just gorgeous, right? And obviously a little bit of luck there or skill, you know. I don't think you could probably repeat that very often.
Yeah. But to James's point, that shortstop, seeing what was going on, jumping up in there, that's the key right there.
Absolutely. So that was a cool play. So that was my play of the week. So I'm gonna move on to my first oh damn moment. Some pretty exciting extra inning games we've had so far this season. I think a really, really good one we had one Saturday night, Braves Phillies once again, going back out to Atlanta. Also, oh damn, look at the crowd out there, guys. It's pretty much at full capacity. I don't know if you can kind of tell in the outfield in there, but Georgia is pretty much they don't have COVID there, so apparently. So pretty interesting to see full sellout crowds in Atlanta. The Braves have been heating up, playing a lot better baseball lately. And this comeback was pretty phenomenal. So let's just kind of go through it. Kind of starts here in the bottom of the ninth inning. The Braves are down by 2 runs.
That's a big boy.
The Panda Express coming in with the 2-run home run to tie the game with 2 outs and 2 strikes. All it takes is one swing of the bat. The Braves are able to send this thing into extra innings. And this is where it gets kind of crazy. So if you guys are not familiar with the extra inning rule, basically last season they implemented this rule where you start with a runner on second base. So whoever made the last out. So here we're in the bottom of the 10th inning. The Braves have base loaded, nobody out. They're not able to score the run here, obviously. So they kind of ground into a play there, a force out at home. And then he's going to go on and strike the next batter out here. Beautiful slider.
Oh,
nasty. Pumping up. Let's go. So we're going to go into the 11th inning. And the Phillies are going to put together a run here. He almost hits his ball out, hits the wall. So Phillies go 4-3. All right. So the Braves are already down 3-1 in the 9th. Now they're down 4-3 in 11th. But once again, because this extra inning rule, they have a runner on second base to lead off the inning. And they get a ground ball here, advance the runner to third base, but he fucks it up. Throws it away.
Oh my God.
Here comes the run, head first slide. Braves tied up once again. So we're going to keep going. We're going to get an ad here because we're on YouTube. But basically, what's really cool about these extra inning games, or what people like, is that there's constant action, right? A lot of times extra innings can go 18 innings and there's like no runners on base the entire time. This one from the get-go, you have a runner on second, nobody out. So it makes it really exciting. So now we're going to the top of the 12th inning. Bryce Harper's up here, the base is loaded, nobody out, and another error, right? So absolute madness. Here comes a
where's the pitcher?
Run. Exactly. That was a horrible play.
Right there.
Yeah, that was a terrible play by the pitcher. So some pretty bad defense here in extra innings, but that's kind of the pressure, right? So we got a lot of pressure plays and guys kind of making dumbhead plays. So here we go. Bottom of the 12th inning, the Braves. So the Phillies score 3 in the top of the 12th inning. The Braves are now down by 3 runs. So bases loaded, nobody out. We got the base hit here down the left field line. McCutchen botches it. He fumbles it. Here comes more runs, and we had a tie ball game. So bases clearing double, and just like that, it's tied up. It's tied up once again.
Hey, it's Darby, the shortstop. Darby Swanson.
Oh yeah. So nobody out here. The Braves have a chance to win. As you see, another bad play. So lots of poor defensive plays here in extras, but even sometimes errors can be fun and exciting, especially if you're not the team that's making them. So good.
Bunted.
That's what they need. That's what they need to do more of, right? I think a lot of teams will have the runner on second, nobody out, and no one bunts them over to third. you've got a much better chance of scoring from third than second. So next batter up, boom, base hit, game over.
Huh.
Braves win the ball game.
Look
Super
at that, he just
exciting.
ran
Here goes
away.
the walk-off. People are going crazy. They do that thing in Atlanta where they turn the lights on and off and make it all crazy. So there you go. Final 12 innings, Braves 8, Phillies 7.
How are the Braves so bad this season?
Yeah, so they got off to a pretty uncharacteristic start there. Some really bad offense. But the pitching was really, really bad. But they've started to kind of, find their ground a little bit. So they're playing a lot better baseball. That National League East is going to be up for grabs all season long. So Eric, I wanted to ask you about this extra inning rule, as I mentioned, having the runner start off on second base. Do you like it? Does it make for more exciting baseball in extra innings? And do you think that MLB after this season, may or may not keep this rule? Should they keep this rule going forward?
I like the rule. It reminds me of it's the MLB's version of the NHL regular season 3-on-3
Just about to say
overtime.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. It speeds up the game and it makes for excitement. So to answer the second part, I really hope the MLB does keep it in because people like to complain baseball is too slow paced for them. I think this makes up for it. And you saw from that game, that was like an extremely exciting game. That would have been a great game to be watching live, but even watching the highlights of it was exciting. So I really hope they keep this going and just engrave it into the regular season because in the playoffs, that's not the case, right?
Yeah, so playoffs they're going to do normal, kind of like in hockey too. So like in overtime they'll keep it 5-on-5. Same thing in baseball. So in extra innings you're just no runners on, nobody out. I agree with you. I think it's a great analogy. Kind of doing it's basically baseball's version of hockey's 3-on-3 overtime. I think it's great. Honestly, at first I was a little iffy on it. I didn't know if I liked it, but I think I've kind of gotten used to it, and I see how much excitement there is, and it speeds up the process of extra innings because baseball games are already long, and to have extra innings where, like I said, I've seen extra inning games where they'll go 16, 17 innings and nobody gets on base the entire time, and it can be pretty brutal to watch. So I think these are fun. I think they make the games end a little bit quicker. And like a game like that, perfect example, it can be very, very fun.
I have something to say before we move on.
Yeah.
First of all, I do agree 100% with both of you guys. I like that rule, putting somebody on second. It makes it way more exciting. All the things you guys said, I agree with. But I think that there's one unforeseen kind of slight that kind of messes with people, especially the closing pitchers, is that now when they come in on the top of the 10th inning, they now have an inherited somebody on base. And so if you give up a single, your ERA goes up when it's not your fault. Your earned run average goes up when literally you did nothing. Like you gave up one hit. That doesn't boost your ERA, but a run scores on your watch from something that you did nothing. So that's kind of unfortunate. So statistics now for a closer who now pitches in extra innings will have worse ERAs than he would have statistically had he not had extra innings. Right. So that's unfortunate.
Or
I do like the rule.
They could adjust for it.
I'm not sure. I need to fact check on this, but I believe, as James, you said, it's an inherited runner, and an inherited runner by rule is not an earned run. So if that run does score, you don't get credit against you, if that makes sense. So it counts as an unearned run for the pitcher. Now, obviously, if you come in the game in that situation, right, and you give up more than one run, whatever run past that, runner that led off the inning at second base is your responsibility. But I believe that the runner on second for the relief pitcher that comes in, if that runner scored, does not count as an earned run for him. I believe. So
James is a stat guy over a team guy. He's like Westbrook.
That's a good point, though. I mean, I think you're right. If I don't 100% know that, so we should fact check that, because if they do,
I think on fantasy it gave me a negative point for an earned run when he gave a hit. I mean, like, well, you can fact check that. That's your thing.
Yeah, we'll fact check that and get back to you guys. But I'm pretty sure it doesn't count as an earned run. But we'll make sure. All right, moving on to my second oh damn. These kind of two oh damns. We got 2 no-hitters this week. One from John Means, the Baltimore Orioles. He no-hit the Seattle Mariners. We're going to show a little bit of highlights, just kind of the last out of both of them here. An interesting one for John Means is that he was the first no-hitter in MLB history to give me a second here, to throw a no-hitter while facing the minimum 27 batters, which is technically a perfect game. but he didn't give up any walks and there were no errors in the game. So how was it a no-hitter and not a perfect game? And then
I get a prize if I answer it.
Go do it.
He struck somebody out, but the pitcher fucked up and then threw it too far, so he couldn't get the out at first when it was a strikeout.
Yep. So it was a wild pitch, strike 3. So he struck out the guy, but the runner was able to make first base on the drop third strike. That batter that was on first base was now the runner, and he attempted to steal, and the catcher threw him out. So there you go. You still have that minimum 27 batters. So it was almost a perfect game. Probably should have been a perfect game for John Means, which is even more spectacular. That is the creme de la creme of pitching. But anyway, he did get the no-hitter. So here's the last out, real easy last out here. First pitch, make it easy for you. A little soft line drive right to the shortstop. I always love the celebrations here. Just a really great accomplishment. His first career no-hitter. It was also the first career no-hitter for Wade Miley. So he threw the second no-hitter of the week here. He is with the Cincinnati Reds, and he no-hit the Cleveland Indians. The Cleveland Indians, this was the second time they've been no-hit this season. So that's kind of brutal. So here's the last out of Wade Miley's no-hitter. Again, pretty simple, easy little hopper here, the shortstop, throw him over, get the final out of the game. So Wade Miley, it's his first career no-hitter. So that was our second no-hitter of the week and our fourth of this season. There's only been one other time in MLB history that we've had this many no-hitters this early in the season, and that was way back in 1917. We were fighting a world war back then, boys. So the MLB record for no-hitters in the season is 8. The year was 1884. If you're more of a modern baseball era and you don't count stats that far back, the modern era record is 7, which has happened 3 times in 1990, 1991, and in 2012. So we're already past half the modern record of 7. I think no-hitters are awesome. They're always fun to watch. But that kind of brings up a point here that across the league so far this season, we are seeing a record low batting average. Currently entering this week, the league average is 233, which is not that good. Like I said, record low. There has not been a lower ERA this much into the season than we've had. So very few hits are being hit. And that kind of explains how many no-hitters that we've had, along with, the pitchers just keep getting better and better and better every single season. So
Can I ask you a question, Tyler?
Yeah.
What are the other teams? What is their thought? Like the Mariners who were on the opposing end of that, are they just pissed?
Yeah.
They didn't get one hit. Are they like mad?
Yeah. No one likes to get no hit. It's not a good feeling. Obviously, as a fan, you like to see it. Dodgers got no hit, I think, in back-to-back seasons not too long ago. It's not a good time, especially on your home ballpark. That's even
worse. So it's like if you can like almost create a rivalry or something out of it, or like the other team's just pissed about it.
I don't think they're pissed, and they're not pissed at their team. They're just pissed that it happened to them, right?
Yeah.
You got to tip your cap, like the pitcher no hit you, like good job, but no one wants to do that, especially in front of their home crowd, which both of those were. They were both visiting no hitters, so never fun. So at Trading, so like I said, no hitters are awesome. Love watching no hitters. Love good pitching. But with the league low batting average, is that a problem? Like, does the league need to change something, or do we need to do something to kind of be able to kind of spark the offense a little bit more than it is right now?
The short answer is no. The long answer is no. Look, I will say this. This is usually we have this type of issue early on in the season, and then as the season or the temperature kind of warms up, the bats almost kind of thaw out. The arms kind of thaw out, and we get more normalized batting averages. But this year it's not quite there yet, and the problem is we don't know what the problem is. I know that sounds wordy, but it seems like there's something that needs to be solved. But what do you solve? Do you put some kind of handicap on your pitching? No, you can't do that, because the pitchers have worked so hard into getting to be at this level. Like we haven't seen them this elite probably ever. And they're just getting better and better. So do you stop them from do you do something there to stop them from, pitching that well? I don't know. They did this year do some alterations to the baseball. I don't know the whole like anatomy about it, but basically we were seeing an issue historically where the amount of home runs was obscene, right? Like they were hitting home runs or dingers like crazy, and they were saying, oh, it's the way they were, lacing up the balls or whatever. I don't know the whole story. I don't know the whole anatomy of the baseball, but they have since changed that a little bit where the baseball takes a little bit more drag when it's up in the air. So we're not getting the same, distances. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. It probably has a little bit to do with it. So there's that. There's also something that is intriguing that I did find out that there is more of an emphasis on positioning in the infield. So in 20% of plate appearances in 2015 involved some kind of strategic shift in the infield. I would guess that just means they kind of shift to be better equipped to handle whatever expected hit that's going to occur. A full 40% of plate appearances have gotten the same treatment this year. That's double. That's huge. That's significant. And as we've seen in a couple of those plays, there is a contact and a hit with the ball, but there's a quick out at first. And if your team is positioned to handle that, I mean, this obviously, that it's not going to be a hit. So I think it's kind of all, this trifecta of issues, or I guess there's just 4 issues. There's the pitching that's better. There's the defensive positioning that has more emphasis. The balls could be a problem, and it's simply just the bats haven't thought out. We're gonna see a little bit of a relief here in the later part of the season, but look, it's not a problem. I mean, you asked me, you would have asked me 2 years ago if we were doing this podcast, is there a problem that there's this many fucking home runs? I mean, it's just back and forth. It's a roller coaster. It's like, which one do you want? Like, you can't have it all. And, there's these sways, and you see it in the NHL. We went to a point where there's so much scoring that goaltenders finally figured it out. We were getting no scoring, so we reduced their equipment. They reduced the size of the equipment. These things happen, and eventually the batters are going to get better, and everything's going to even out. Is it going to happen overnight? No. Stop worrying about it. I'm not saying you are, but I'm just saying, don't worry about it. It's okay. Let the pitchers do their thing. Be happy that we're actually seeing, better pitching, and maybe, just maybe, we also need to remember that the way the game's played is that they're going for the big hits. They don't care about strikeouts. They're going for the big hits. Maybe we might see a shift back to a small ball type of game where you're just trying to get on base now. Maybe that's what I've been waiting for. So maybe that's the key. Maybe we're actually going to see some more, small ball where you're not just trying to hit the freaking, hit for the fences. You're actually going to try and hit to get a base. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm talking out my ass, but these things just have a way of changing. And I just think everybody needs to just calm down.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with most of what you said. I think it's a really complicated question. I think you did a really great job, because that was a question that you could dive deep, and there's a lot of different ways to look at it. And depending on what kind of style of baseball you like, you might be fine with it, or you might not be. If you're a pitching guy like myself, I love seeing no-hitters. So I don't care. But I do think that, offense is still fun to watch. Obviously, you guys, we were at the highest scoring Dodgers-Angels game in history. I don't know if you guys knew that, but
I did not know that.
And that was a blast, right? Like, we enjoyed watching 25 runs worth of baseball, right? Not that a 2-1 pitcher's duel would have been any less fun, but I think, there's a balance between the two, right? So I think you're seeing a little bit maybe of it, the balance kind of leaning more towards the pitching being almost too dominant. But that kind of depends on who you ask, right? Baseball at one point back in this, I believe it was the 60s, pitching was so good and there was like no runs being scored. So what they did is that they lowered the height of the mound to what it is today. So pitchers didn't have as much the torque and downhill speed coming at the plate, right? So it kind of it reduced the velocity and reduced a little bit of the movement on the pitch. I think baseball, is try to do a lot of different little tweaks. I think baseball is at war with itself a lot. and it's constantly saying, oh, we want this, and then we're going to change it, but oh, we overcorrected, now we're going to do this, and it's just kind of frustrating. And I kind of agree with you where you can overthink this and you can overanalyze. You can look at all the complex numbers, all the StatCast launch angles and shifts and all these things. You know, at the end of the day, like, we just want to watch baseball and we want to see it play out. I think, Trade, and I agree with you. I think it'll police itself in the sense where I think, you know, hitters will make an adjustment, and then, you know, at some point the pitchers will make an adjustment back, and it'll be just this constant ebb and flow. I think this has been going on since the history of time. You know, there's always one side that's going to dominate the other until the other side makes the adjustment. So I think right now we're just seeing really, really good pitching, and the hitting is kind of, you know, faltering a little bit. But like I said, I believe, like you said, it's not gonna happen overnight, but at some point the hitters will make the adjustment, and I think you will see that I don't think batting average are gonna just keep tanking down to where we're getting one hit a game, right?
You're absolutely, there's an inflection point that is going to occur where batting averages come back the other way. We may see a historically bad year.
Yeah.
We just need to not care about that. Things have their way of you know, like you said, policing themselves. So calm down.
Yeah, these players are very talented. They will figure out, I guarantee it. All right, so moving on to my last oh damn moment. Kind of a upsetting one for some people. Albert Pujols was released by the Los Angeles Angels last week. Kind of came a little bit to a bitter end. Obviously, Albert Pujols is getting a little bit up there in age. He's 41 years old. Not the fastest guy in the league, we'll just say that. But he is one of the greatest of all time. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is one of the, you know, great talents that this game has ever seen hit a baseball. He is fantastic. He was released by the Angels after a dispute for him not getting enough playing time, and he basically, you know, criticized Joe Madden's management skills in the front office. And pretty much the next day, they axed him, and they're like, "All right, if you don't like it, then you can leave and try and go find a job somewhere else." So at the moment, as we sit here on Monday night, Albert Pujols is still out of a job. So Albert Pujols, he's 33 home runs from 700, which would be a huge milestone. I think everyone in baseball wants to see that. Also, I don't think anyone in baseball wants to see Albert Pujols go out like this, right? He's one of the best to ever do it. I think we want to see him go out on his own terms, right? So James, as an Angels fan, you know, personally, you know, what kind of your initial thoughts and reaction to this move? And then second part of the question, what team, if any, do you think should pick up Albert here?
It was bittersweet. It was a shock mostly because there was nothing about his discomfort with the team or Madden's managerial skills before this had happened. But it needed to happen. We needed more room we need to put Jared Walsh in his true spot at first base. And being a DH, you want Shohei to be out there. Shohei is a much better hitter at this point in his career than Albert Pujols is at this point in his career. And Jared Walsh is a budding superstar as well. The guy hits like crazy. The tough part about that is that somebody of his caliber and how well he's moved this game and how well known he is and what he's given back to this game, I think he should have had a more ceremonious exit than this. To me, it's a little disrespectful to Albert, to his fans, to what he's done, to his accomplishments, to everything that he's given. It sucks to be just cut. Most people who have given this much to the game, to any game, to any sport, have a better exit. They all have this retirement kind of parade that they go through every single city on. Like Kobe, that's the biggest one that comes to mind. Kobe, when he said he was going to retire at the end of the season, every single place he went, even at Boston, even in San Antonio, everybody was appreciated for what he'd done for the game. And I'm afraid that Albert's not going to get that. And that's upsetting. I haven't been a baseball fan for that long, but I know that Albert Pujols deserves better than this. It's tough. I really want him to find some other spot to go to. When I'm reading more articles and kind of trying to figure out what exactly happened, and I don't think we'll ever know, but it's a move that worked out for both sides. The Angels wanted more time for Walsh at first and Shohei to DH, and Albert Pujols wanted more playing time, and he wasn't going to get that with the Angels. At this rate, he'll have an opportunity to find somewhere else to play and get more playing time. If that's going to happen, that's to be determined, but I do have a couple of places that he could play. Like I said, this is going to be kind of hard to – it's going to be hard for him to find a job because of his deteriorating skill set. At this point in time, he's hitting a 198 average and his on base is 250. Not the best for somebody that you want to be a designated hitter or you're potentially a platoon first baseman because he's not an everyday first baseman. His body will not last at 41. He's made a multitude of errors at first base, and it's showing this during this Angel season, and that's why they made that big switch to begin with. But my first team that I think he should be able to go to, first one of the Cincinnati Reds, Joey Votto, the number one first baseman, has a broken thumb and he's going to be out for a couple weeks. Joey Votto is also older, and his numbers have also been deteriorating over time. So when Joey Votto comes back and the Pujols with the Reds, then he can kind of do the platoon thing there and hopefully save both of them for a longer postseason run, because at this point in time, any team has a chance of making it to the playoffs. Everybody's kind of close all the way through at every division. The second team I think he should be able to go to is the Cleveland Indians. Tyler just mentioned it before. They've been no-hit twice this season. Their offense is not that good. They currently have a platoon at first base of Jake Bauers and Yu Chang, and they combined, those two have a worse average than Pujols does. So it would certainly be an upgrade to put Pujols in that lineup. He wouldn't be every day. You'd have to put in Jake Bauers or Yu Chang, but the fact of the matter is he'll up that average and he'll up that on-base percentage to help that team be a little bit better and not get no hit. And the AL Central is winnable, so that's a thing there. And the last one, this one's probably not going to happen. There's like a 3% chance of happening, but it's cool to think about, and that's the St. Louis Cardinals, mainly because right now they have Matt Carpenter as their first baseman and their DH. It'd just be cool to have Albert Pujols go back there where he got big, where he won everything, where he made the name for himself, to go back there, play the rest of the season out there, and retire there. That'd be really cool to see, have him retire in that St. Louis Cardinals jersey. That'd be awesome. Play with his best friend, the catcher, forget his name right now, Molina. There we go. Play with him. They're buddies. They go back forever. Like, that would be cool to see. The chance of that happening are just slim to none, and I think Slim just left the building, so it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, those are good picks. I think the one I'll add to it that I kind of saw that I kind of was like that I feel like that could be a good fit would be the Kansas City Royals, mainly because American League team, they don't really have. I mean, they have Jorge Soler, who's their DH, but he's not that good either. And there's just a lot of young talent on that team that Albert Pujols could definitely be the mentor of. And really kind of mold this up and coming Kansas City team. We saw them get off to a really good start this season. They've kind of tailed the last couple of weeks, but I think this team is pretty close to contending and could use a guy like Albert Pujols to kind of tell them, how to be successful in this league. I think he did that with the Angels. I think there's a lot of Angels hitters. I mean, the Angels, I believe, have the second best offense in the league right now. You got to give Albert Pujols a lot of credit for that. I mean, he's probably molded a lot of these young hitters. And he can do that, towards the end of his career. No, that's probably not the role he doesn't want to be known as like the mentor. I think he wants to contribute and actually, hit home runs and do his thing too. But obviously I'm sure as an older guy, he's going to embrace that. I think he wants to win. I don't know if there's going to be a contending team that's going to want to take him on. Unfortunately, I can see him going to a team more like the Royals that aren't necessarily going to be contenders, but could use a veteran presence on to kind of help mold their young guys. But we'll see. I just hope he gets picked up by somebody, because like you said, he deserves that, Derek Jeter, Kobe Bryant type of send off, right? Where everyone, is giving him ovations every time he comes back to the plate, and just kind of so the whole league can appreciate it and say goodbye. I think fans deserve that. I think he deserves that. So I hope he gets picked up by somebody. Other than that, that's going to be my Oh Damn Moments of the week. Thank you guys for chiming in on your takes. And that's it. That's all I got, Traden.
Beautiful. Before we put a pin in that discussion, I just want to throw just kind of a question that I was just thinking, and just kind of an idea. How much of the fact that there was an unceremonious, send off for Pujols, how much of it was kind of his fault for trying to think that it's not time? Like, did his ego kind of get a little ahead of himself? That's all, I guess, my question. I'm not trying to say that he's a bad player or anything, but did some of that, did he bring it on himself to an extent? Like, it's not completely the Angels' fault.
I think he did in a sense. I don't know if he necessarily wanted to get cut, but I think he's like, listen, like, I'm at the last point of my career. Like, I don't want to have the last year or maybe 2 years of my career to be a bench player. Like, I want to play baseball. Like, this is why I'm here. I'm getting paid to play baseball. I don't want to play every 6th day. Right. And just the matter of the fact is where he was with the Angels team, as James pointed out, there just wasn't a spot for him. Right. There's up and coming guys that are going to hit the ball much better than he is. And the Angels management, they're just not going to put him in. As great as he is and as great as the name is, his production just isn't there. It's just not, you
Yeah.
know? And that's why I feel like, you know, if he does get picked up by a team, it's going to be a team that's not going to really care about that as much. And, you know, they're not going to, you know, because the Angels are trying to contend, you know, they're trying to push for a division and a postseason spot. So they're not going to want a guy that's going to go out there at a, you know, and hit 190, you know, and maybe hit a home run every, you know, 30 at bats or whatever. Like that's just not going to do it. So he's probably going to be with a team that's not going to care as much about that. And it's going to want the veteran leadership and more of the kind of presence that he holds. And so it also works for Pujols as well. So he can actually play. Right. So
James,
do you got something?
Yeah, I think he was dealt a bad hand. I don't know if it was ego per se, because hitting the Mendoza line is 200, right?
Yeah.
And that used to be kind of if you're hitting 200, you're okay baseball player. And he's right there. He's at 198. He's had limited at bats. His on base is 250. Not the best, but it's also not bad either. But he has hit 6 home runs in the season. And that's like the most amount of home runs this season right now is 10. He's right there. He can produce, but the fact of the matter is Gerald Walsh came out of nowhere last season. Shohei Ohtani's batting skills have always been there, but they've improved this season. Mm-hmm. He was dealt a bad hand with the position that he plays, given the young talent that was up and coming in the Angels roster. If he was somewhere else and he was established somewhere else, I don't know if this would be a problem. The ego thing is not a problem in my book.
Yeah, that's fair. It just came to mind. Just, you know, I guess he sees that the roster is getting younger and getting faster and kind of leaving him behind. And I do hope, to your guys' point, I do hope that he gets the ceremonious send off that he deserves, because he does deserve that. But, you know, we'll have to see how that rolls out.